Should you accept depression as being a part of who you are? My name is Noah. I think the answer is yes, and I'm going to explain why, and we're going to get into this a little bit. First and foremost, participate, get in the comment section, let me know what you think and why you think it, by the way, and let's keep it friendly. This is all just my opinion. But I'm going to tell you why I think that you should accept depression as being a part of who you are, and why I do think that depression is a part of who I am, and anxiety and stuff like that. Now, I've been making videos about mood disorders for years, and when I first started the channel, I was acutely and very severely depressed. And I would say things all the time to the effect of, my name is Noah, and I'm someone who struggles with depression, or I am depressed right now, or I have a history of depression. And when I said this over the years, it would come up that people would think that I shouldn't be associating myself so directly with it, as if conceding that depression is a part of my life was going to therefore make it impossible for me to make adequate progress and get out of it. And this has come up multiple times, and I always meant to do a video about this because it's an interesting thing. And I didn't outright think I was in the know when it came to this for a while, but as I processed and pondered, and as years have gone by where I have continuously had bouts with depression and anxiety, I've realized a few things. In the past, I didn't listen to whispers in life. I didn't listen to my intuition, the little conscience on my shoulder, my Jiminy Cricket. I was really, really good, and I've always been really good at ignoring whispers, hints, things that would normally lead a rational person to make changes in their life, whether it be lifestyle, diet, relationships, work, anything really, drugs and alcohol. I've never listened to whispers. It's always taken roaring loud screams, just someone belting in my ear, life more specifically, belting in my ear for me to make differences and changes in my life, any of which would be positive and possibly lead me to a healthier state of being. And when it comes to depression, my whole life I've gotten signs that things were coming. When it came to alcoholism, I got signs and warnings. Things were coming, bad things, and I didn't listen. And early on in my depression, when I would start to do better, I would start to forget that I was ever a depressed person, and I would very naturally and lackadaisically go right back to a lot of the things that were part of the problem, a lot of the choices and behaviors and thought patterns, a lot of the things that got me into trouble in the first place. I would go back to them because I didn't want to associate myself with depression. It was just something I went through, but now it's gone, and here I am. I'm back. I'm me. And the longer I've dealt with depression, the more progress I've made, the more I've expanded my mind, the more things I've tried, the more I've learned, the better off I've been understanding, respecting, and for me, accepting that depression is a part of who I am. It's not one of those things you get to overcome and move on from and never ever see again. Very unlikely. Like alcoholism, just because you stop drinking doesn't mean that if you go back out there and drink, things aren't going to be just as bad or worse. And depression for me has always required a continued effort. I've never been able just to wipe my hands of it. Exclusively, when I pretend I'm no longer someone who has any susceptibility, any history of depression, I just go about my merry way and I cut my self-care in half and I start eating poorly and I engage in behaviors and lifestyle choices that are not exactly mental health friendly. Guess what happens? I get in trouble again. Mood disorders come back with a vengeance, and I sit there and I scratch my head and I'm like, how did this happen? But what I've found is if I can adjust and modify my life with the understanding that I do have a history of depression, it's a part of my story, just like anxiety is, just like depersonalization is, just like alcoholism is for me. If I can keep that in mind and never forget, I don't need to live in it, but I never forget it's part of who I am because it helps me structure and organize my life in a way that'll help me prevent a relapse of going back into XYZ, whatever it may be, anxiety, depression, alcoholism. I use it as a badge. It's like it's okay to continue to do these important things that keep me safe because that's who I am. I'm not ashamed of it. I think a lot of the people that reach out to me and are like, don't say it. Don't say you're a depressed person, or don't say you have a history of depression, or you're sensitive to mood disorders. I think it's like one of those stigma perpetuating mindsets. There's nothing wrong with being someone who struggles with depression, truly. It's unfortunate when someone gets into a depressive state or an anxious state and then wallows there and doesn't fight through it, or accepts the mood disorder in a sense that now they can never be anything else. I'm more than just a depressed person. I've never been one to say I'm only someone who struggles with depression. I'm only an alcoholic. No, I'm a person. I'm my own person. I've got my own story. But that's a part of my story, and so long as I respect that part of my story, I improve my chances to head towards better things, to healthy things, things that are going to improve my quality of life, real peace of mind, real serenity, real mental stability. So that is why I believe it's completely okay to accept depression as being a part of who you are. It doesn't have to be the only part, but I think if you make it and if you let it be what it is, you're better off for it, you're smarter for it, and you're more likely to take care of yourself, mind and body, in a way that can help you move on from it and do other things. That's just my perspective. That's what I think. I'm very interested to know what you guys think, and I really appreciate you guys checking out the video. By the way, I don't need to be right. This is just my opinion, and I'm totally open to the fact that this might not be the right opinion for you. Mood disorders are very, very stressful, scary things. Mine have taken me nearly to death, so I very much am careful with it. I'm respectful of the danger of mood disorder, and I try to deal with it the best I can and keep my head clear about it the best I can. I appreciate you guys so much. Leave me your feedback, your thoughts in the comments below. We'll see you guys in the next video. Mental Health Mondays. Peace.